Hello and welcome. Today is ZOTAC, and of course, I'm going to be bringing you ZOTAC games all throughout the day if things go as planned. Unfortunately, this is not the ideal setup for this, but I'll be doing my best. There will be a little bit of additional background noise throughout the day in some of these games. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry, guys, but hopefully it won't be too bad. That being said, I am pretty much just going to be watching games here and there all day long, casting them, recording them, and putting them up on YouTube. So, hopefully that'll be good. Hopefully everyone will enjoy these games, and that'll be great. Right now we're seeing a best of one. I believe this is round one. It's round one or round two. Just depends on if these guys got a bye, and if they could, because there's a bunch of buys on round one. So it seems like half of the players are in round one and half of them are in round two. Either way, it's a best of three, or I'm sorry, best of one. Either way, this is NoX.SuZ, spawning as the blue human, and he is also known as Funny Dog, and his real name is Danny. He's a German human player, and he's ranked fairly well on ESL. Actually, not going to be the best player, but he has some really good games against people like Prado, for example. I don't know if he's won any against those games, but I have seen his game against Prado. I believe, I'm almost positive on that one, some time ago. But anyway, that would be him. And over here we do have him against Fs.Passion, who is currently on Team DKH. I do believe he is a French undead, and obviously he shouldn't really need much of an introduction anymore. He's a very well-known player. Just started up again recently, I believe, playing a lot. I don't know, I didn't really hear a lot from him for a little while there, so he may have been on a hiatus, or who knows what could have happened, but either way, he is back now, and he's playing quite a bit. He is spawning as the pink undead, and this is a close spawn. And if we look over here on the middle of the map, we actually have an Acropolis going down right out here. This is interesting because whenever we see something like this, then that gives you a lot of blight up here, and that means you can do some really fun stuff like put down some zigs and take early expansions and things. Now, that's probably not the best of ideas, I don't know, against a human this close to you, but who knows, especially when going rifles right off the bat. That means we're going to see rifle versus perhaps some fiends at some point after that graveyard goes down. We're going to see what he does. Is he going to go for a very late tier 1 and do some kind of an expansion play? That may very well be what we're going to see here. That would be quite exciting. But we do see actually it's going to be Paladin first. That's an interesting hero choice. I'm not sure that I think that's the best hero choice, but, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and in fact, it looks like he's going to go ahead and begin to attack the tier 2 instead. I don't think he has any units out just yet other than those ghouls, but we do see that he does have this Death Knight basically just sitting outside the human base, just trying to figure out what is going on over here. This Paladin is taking forever to come out, and we do have these Riflemen just sitting here, so... as well as some militia coming out. The Paladin is going to have a little attack squad right here with 3 rifles and a handful of militia, where he's going to be able to go ahead and creep this out without too much of a problem. He will have to be wary of the coil steel on this big creep. Is he going to be able to avoid that? We're going to find out, as it looks like he is not, and it looks like 68 experience does go to the Death Knight. However, he will be able to pick up the item, which is a Cloak of Shadows, which is a pretty good item on this map, although a dust does counteract it, and he can go ahead and pick up a dust at his shop if he'd like to right here. This Tome of Relics does indeed sell it. Look back to the main map, it looks like we're going to see a Ziggurat being thrown down. Now, usually this does indicate an expansion. As you can see, that's a very real possibility. Throwing that Ziggurat down could absolutely mean that. However, he doesn't even have a Rod of Necromancy, I just noticed, which is a bit of an interesting thing. He is going to go ahead and start pumping out fiends, and over here we do see him coming in here trying to get a steal off. Looks like he's not in the greatest position here. He may get surrounded and forced out. He is taking a fair amount of damage here. We're going to see what he's going to be able to do. He's trying to maneuver his way out of here, but these rifles are pretty fat units, and it looks like he is now officially surrounded, and he's going to either have to TP out or something. Yes, in fact, he's going to TP out. That is 5 rifles on the field. That is a very large number of rifles for him to have to deal with. And here we do see this fiend. It was coming over here and has now been scouted by NoX.SuZ, because as it ran into the human base, of course, that gives him vision. Now you can see that this is the Death Knight going over here. Now we can see this Nubian Tower. What's so cool about this is if you pull one of these creeps over, just over to here, as it runs away, it'll get slowed and attacked by this tower. You can get a bunch of free pot shots off on it. It makes it really nice to creep it. Now we do see he did go ahead and pick up a Rod of Necromancy. I would expect him to creep this first while this finishes upgrading, but we'll find out what does he do. It looks like he's going to do that. Over here we can see that NoX.SuZ is actually creeping out his shop over here, and that's going to give him level no, I don't think it's going to quite give him level 3, but it's going to give him very, very close to level 3, in fact. And he's going to get a Ring of Regeneration, which he could sorely use. As you can see, he's been tanking on his Paladin. Looks like he's now officially starting to upgrade to his keep and getting a shop in the back of his base. I'm not sure why he'd get it in the back of his base, but more power to him, I guess, if it works. And we do see that he is going to upgrade the Rifleman damage right here. Very close to level 3 on his Paladin. This creep, if he creeps it out, will give him level 3, in fact. And over here we can see now that this is Fs.Passion going ahead and creeping this out. He's using a couple of ghouls in his army right now, and he did go ahead and have 4 ghouls at the start, and he is actually tier 2 currently. So that's very nice. He will be able to pick up a Tavern Hero if he needs to defend this in a pinch. Otherwise, he could go ahead and get a pretty much whatever he wants. Against a Paladin first, you can really do a couple of viable things. A Naga is definitely not a bad choice. A Panda is not a bad choice because a Naga allows you to slow a unit and pick it off despite Holy Light, and a Panda allows you to spread out a bunch of AoE damage without really having to worry about Holy Light either too much. It just kind of overwhelms it. And you could also go Lich, which is obviously your standard and powerful choice. So we'll see what happens here. And over here we can see these rifles are going up in here. Looks like he's going to go ahead and buy a scroll of regeneration to get all of his units back up to full HP. And he is level 3 now, so that's going to be pretty powerful stuff, especially if he scouts this, because there is only one Nubian tower up at this point, so it's not going to be able to do too much. And it looks like he did go ahead and pick a Naga up for this. Will he go for a push? I don't know. He's about to hit level 3 on his Death Knight, however, so that's going to be even levels, which is going to be pretty nice for him. And we do see that ZOTAC is coming over this way to maybe try to get a jack off or something. Unaware really, I think, of what's going on the map right now, that there's an expansion and some very nice items for this Death Knight. A potion of greater healing, which is 500 hit points. Very, very nice, very effective to make him into a very nice tank, as well as a potion of greater mana, which is 300 hit points. I'm sorry, 300 mana, which is also just absolutely insane because each coil is 75 mana, so that is, I believe, 4 coils right there. My math isn't the greatest, but I do believe so, yes. And we're going to see a fight here. Now, there are more rifles on this map than there are fiends, I believe. Yes, indeed. But, and they are better upgraded, but I don't know, it's going to be interesting. There is a Naga on the map, as well as a Nubian tower fighting right here. So, and we might also see some skeletons popping up. Looks like we won't see skeletons. The Paladin did have a dust, but there was Burrow, so the Burrow going to be negated in effectiveness. And here we do see the Spirit Tower is actually being upgraded right now currently. Looks like that fiend is going to barely live with a coil as it gets Holy Lighted, just barely right there. And we're going to see that another Rifleman is going to go down because of that because of the offensive Holy Lights we're seeing. And he's almost out of mana over here on his Paladin. There's no way he's going to be able to win this fight now because the Death Knight just has so much more mana than him with this greater mana potion that he does have. And there's no way for this Paladin to regenerate his mana. However, it only costs 60 mana for Holy Light rather than 75, and it's 75 for a coil, so that will be a little bit of advantageous for the Paladin. But again, as you can see, he just doesn't have what it takes really to fight this off, even though he does have all those additional rifle units. But using Holy Lights offensively, it gives it only half effectiveness, so it's not quite as nice, especially in a fight where you're pretty much fighting heal versus heal. Generally, you would prefer to, if you wanted to use your Holy Lights offensively to kill things, it's fine. But in this case, we did see a coil used offensively, but again, a little bit different because the Paladin simply didn't have enough mana to actually cast a defensive Holy Light. But and none of his fiends were actually in danger of taking any real damage there. Now you can see this expansion has gone up. This is a pretty big advantage for Fs.Passion. He's going to be in a pretty good shape here because at this point, he is on his way to tier 3, which his opponent is not. And his opponent is now just finally starting to put up a Arcane Sanctum. We already have a Slaughterhouse out with a statue on the field, which is basically saying that the army for Passion is simply better at this point. But we do have a Mountain King out right now, so that could level the playing field. We will find out if it does or not. But it's not looking that great for Mr. ZOTAC over here, unfortunately. He is trying to get some mana back onto that Paladin. Is it going to be that clarity might be canceled right here? In fact, it is, with a coil and a bit of focus immediately put down onto the Paladin, going to cost Passion a fiend, and it looks like a statue has been surrounded just a little bit there, and it's going to go down, unfortunately, for Passion. And over here we can see that there's pretty much nothing else going on over here except this fight. And we do see a fiend has been surrounded. It's going to be burrowed, but there is, of course, the dust, and that is the last charge of dust. Here we do see a bunch of militia are running in here. This may be what it takes to change this fight. There aren't any towers over here just yet. If he decides to come over here, he can maybe take down this expo. He does have quite a few riflemen on the field, and they are 1-1 versus 0-0 fiends who are on their way to getting 1-0, but who knows how long that's going to take, really. I guess, well, we just saw the timer, but either way, you know what I mean. That's kind of a metaphorical kind of statement, I suppose. Will it come in time for this fight? That's the real question that I'm trying to pose. We'll see. But this fight could go. I mean, it really could go either way. I'd say we do see there's going to be some towers going up from the human over here. So you have an arcane tower going up. I really think the human needs to be getting these defensive holy lights rather than offensively using them. Use bolt offensively, but he's actually out of mana on the Mountain King. That's not good for him. This is not really the time to be out of mana, and he's focusing down these ghouls. I'm not really sure that's really the best bet either. I guess technically they do a little bit of damage as you want to kill them, and they're easy to kill. But really, the mainstay of Passion right now is his Fiend army. So, and there, it looks like a Spirit Tower has actually been able to manage to get up, and there is also a Nerubian Tower really beating down on this NoX.SuZ's army here. And I think his best bet probably would be to get out of this fight and maybe go expand somewhere else. But we'll see if he can pull this off. That Mountain King narrowly escaping with 14 life. And over here we can see that the undead army is on the offensive here, just trying to really take out these units. Doesn't want to give up. Back off here, because if he does, those towers will go up, and that will of course actually be the end of his expansion. But it looks like he's actually forcing the human back. He's really devastated the army, and he's really just working on it. The Paladin taking a lot of damage. The Paladin's going to be forced to TP out. The Paladin goes down. He doesn't actually TP out. It looks like something happened there, and he just didn't get the TP. And a statue also goes down. This is not good for SuZ. He is actually falling far behind at this point, not able to really do anything to this army anymore without that Paladin. And just really losing the rest of his units, it looks like, as he's not running away with them. The Mountain King is going to go down. A rifle did go down, and now we have pretty much 3 rifles that are in Nerubian Tower range, so they're going to go down as well, and GG is called. So that's good game, and Passion will advance to the next round. At some point. There we go. Yeah, so that's the first game of the day, and I will have plenty more of those to come, hopefully. So if you guys are interested, just stay tuned. I'll be uploading them and rendering them as I cast them. So plenty of content. I'll see you soon.